It wasn't long ago I came to this town, drunk on hope, looking for opportunity. But when Lady Opportunity wouldn't show me her pretty face, I didn't know where to go. So I took this job. I tracked down this man they called the Sicilian. And you see, everyone in this town knew the Sicilian. No, we didn't know his face or where he lived, but we knew him. Because if you wanted something, the Sicilian had it, and it had its price. The Sicilian had his boys in every nook and cranny in this town. But when I tried to ask for it, look around for leads, and find evidence, it all came out dry. Every time I got closer, he came out cleaner than a nun. And that's what brought me here, to this filthy alley on a cold fall evening. It was to be my first job in the development of the Python Mafia. And the microphone is back. All right. Hey fellas, so today we'll be doing the better version of last tutorial, because last time I realized the content was a little bit ahead of the game. So today we've toned it down a bit and got it more ready to go for everyone. So as the procedure was previously, we've got to clone the project from GitHub. If some of you guys were here last time, you will already have the project cloned. If you don't, that's okay. We will be cloning it as always. So I'll just clear it off here and show you guys how that's done really quick. Should be the same as last time, but in case it isn't, I'll just get rid of it there. Oh, that's not even open on there. Anyways, so yeah, we just open up the old Eclipse, launch that, and hopefully there won't be too much trouble to reclone this project. Alright, week 2 demo. I'm just going to delete that off my computer so I can show you guys how to clone it. So you go File, Import, Project from Git with Smart Import, Clone URI. Now you're going to paste in a link. I'm going to get you guys that link right now. Just give me a second. Tutorial 2. There we go. Here's the link you guys are pasting in. I'll paste in that very same link here. Next, and then all that stuff is done. Oh, for mine, it's not an empty directory, so since I already had the project, I have to go delete it. Excuse that. Yep, now I should be able to do that. File, import. I should be sharing screen, yep. You should be able to see my screen through the webcam view. If not, let me know. You cannot see anything. Okay, well it's pinned on the video right now. You should be able to see it. If you don't, let me know. But you should be seeing my screen right now. Okay, cool. Well, we see it, so that's the priority. So yeah, again, it's projects from Git with Smart Import in Eclipse. You keep clicking next, it'll clone it. If that's challenging, I can let you guys know, but again, it's File at the very top, then Import, then Projects from Git with Smart Import. There's a folder that's called Git. You'll expand the folder called Git, and there's Projects from Git with Smart Import. You click Next, Clone URI, you paste in your URI, and you go. By bit blurry, nothing is readable. Sorry about that. I don't think there's anything I can do to fix that at this point, but it's okay if you can't read the stuff. You'll be able to see this code on your computer as soon as you clone it. Same procedure as the last 2 tutorials. You'll just be going Project from Git with Smart Import, pasting the URI. I'll put up a poll to see how many people of you are done, or how many of you have done this already. And if not, well, we'll get going once most people are ready to go. No, who has it cloned? All right, so yep, once most of you voted in for who has it cloned, we can get going. All right, so the majority of people have it cloned. If you guys have it cloned from last time, you guys are gonna have to need to update it. So you go right click on it, team, pull, and you'll be able to go. Mine won't let me do that because I have the latest version. But if you don't, if you did this last tutorial, you should have to do the git pull. So let me rephrase that question a bit. Who has the latest version? Pull. All right. So who has the latest version? The way you check if you have the latest version is in your project here. You should have different classes, one of which should be illegal pizza. If you have illegal pizza, you are on the latest version. If you do not have illegal pizza, you are not on the latest version. So let's just make sure. All right, so most people have the latest version already. Sweet, we can get going right away then. I'm just going to assume that the people who haven't voted, if you have trouble, just put it in the chat. And we can see about sorting that out. And besides that, since the vast majority of the people have it cloned already, and anybody who hasn't can ask in the chat about any problems they're having, I can start getting into the actual thing we're doing. So the actual thing we're doing here will be making the client class for this. So I leave it kind of blank. There's just a bunch of things we're going to have to populate. And we're going to do this as a class. We'll try to explain the things as we go along. So this client is going to have to serve several purposes. The client is going to have to be able to buy things, and it's going to be able to have to keep a list of things that it owns, and it's going to be able to have some health so that it can get attacked and die and or not die. So we'll have to come up with ways to implement all of these different things. So first and foremost, does anybody have any ideas for what fields we might need given the methods? Like, you can take your time, look around our different methods, see what kind of fields we might need to implement, such as, how much, their name, money, that kind of stuff, and what data types should be associated with those. If anybody's got any ideas for that, you are welcome to butt in and say so. Yes, indeed. All right, well, in explaining it, we need to have certain functionalities here. We've got to be able to buy a product. This will be handled in a main method, which is elsewhere. Yeah, we can put an int for health. We can just do that right away. So we can do an int health here. Yeah. We could probably do the same for money. We're looking at the client.java file. I was going to put long, and that was the standard I got here, because the way the hint for that would be to here, public long get money. We have to make this method work. So long would be a good data type for money. So let's just say long money, because obviously somebody can have a lot of money. A string name, yeah, that's a common one. Name, that one's pretty good. Now we want to be able to store a list of products. So in client.java, we want to be able to store what products this person owns. Does anybody have an idea for a good data type we can use to store a set of products? Yeah, you could put an array of products. All right. Well, product is actually an object we define here. Like, it's defined elsewhere in the class. So for now, we won't be using strings. We'll be using an array of products. But otherwise, yeah, you guys are on the spot. Well, we'll do a product inventory. All right, kind of makes sense. So again, the reason we're not using a string array and we're using an array of product is just because of how I've set up this whole thing. Here we've got product p in by rather than string, and product is this class over here, which we'll explain later. It has several properties like the cost, the legality, the quality, all this stuff that we don't have to deal with right now, but we'll be looking at in future tutorials. For now, we just care about the fact that we have an array of products. So these fields seem all right, but there's a bit of a demonstration I have to show why there might be a problem. And you guys can run this on your own as well. If you go into cartel.java, and now you run cartel.java, so if you go up here, and you run, well, actually, it's not even in the runnables here, is it? So you have to run as Java application. Okay, well, it outputs nothing right now. Why is that? Oh yeah, I didn't put them as public. Oops. All right, sorry. Can we make all of our fields public first, and then we can run it? Where's client.java? So if we make our fields public, And this is just to demonstrate public versus private. And we run it. We can see that we have these different fields that can be accessed externally. You see, I'm running it. I'm running cartel.java. I'm not running anything in client. I'm running the main method over here. And you can see that my program, when it runs, it outputs this list of fields which can be accessed directly, which means that this cartel.java program is able to directly access these properties of client. If you guys all run this, you can see it as well. All these different fields. That kind of makes sense to you guys? Like, you can see these fields from outside, right? Yes, you'll see what's your name if you made your fields private, but if you make your fields public, you'll be able to see this as well on the top. What's your name comes in after, because we're going to make like a little game out of this, so that's why what's your name is there. But until that, before that, you should be able to see these. And then if your field is, when I run cartel, what field are you talking about? I'm talking about your fields of client. So if you were following along and you made client, the client class here, and you made your fields public, when you run the cartel.java, you should be able to see your fields represented when you run the program at the very start when you open it. And if you don't, then let me know in the chat. But that's if they're public. If I remove the modifier and I run it, notice how that field disappears from the list. It's okay if you guys can't see that there, but I'm just trying to show, right? With different modifiers, if you have one as private, now we don't see it anymore. But if we have it as public, we do. And what this is supposed to demonstrate is that when I'm in this other Java file, I can actually see the fields of this other class if they're not private. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Like the property, like the fields which are public are visible from another class. So when I run this code, it actually lists off the fields that are public. And we can explain why that's a problem. Because if, let's suppose, the person coding the cartel class might be a bit of a shady individual, and they might say, want to scrape some money off the top whenever they deal with a client. They could easily then just say like, let's see, where do we deal with a client here? We have a client called user here. So we could say, you know, user dot money minus equals 500, like that, right? And we can access the money field directly. We don't want that. We don't want to be able to modify these things from an external class, because you can see that causes us some problems. It can also cause problems in other contexts, not just when you're dealing with like some shady cartel, but especially in this situation, you probably don't want to be able to access certain fields publicly. And that is the reason why we set our fields to be private, so that when we run it, we don't have access to all of these fields directly. You don't want people to be able to mess with things like your health, your money, and your inventory from outside unless they go through a particular process to do so. So now if we run it again, and I've made all these fields private, you can see it doesn't print anything and it just asks what your name. That's exactly what we should be doing. Now, let's go through some of these methods and let's instantiate our fields. So first off, let's create our constructor here. You guys all have this part of the code here. This is public client string name long money. If you guys all go to that part, how do you guys think it's best that we instantiate our 4 fields here? Yeah, we could, though we're past the string name and the long money. So how would you guys go about setting that? And just, you know, name equals name. Money equals money. That would be an issue. Yeah, that's right. So we'll put this dot name equals name. Pretty rudimentary stuff. Just this name equals name. This money equals money. And then how do you think we should instantiate things like health and the products? We should probably make them 0, right? So we can do like int, we can just do health equals 0. And then we can do, you know, inventory equals new product, length 0 as well. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense to you guys. So I just made an empty array of products for the inventory, and I put the health at 0. Though that doesn't make much sense, because we probably want to start with like full health. We can just put health 100. This is so that when we get attacked, we have some health to deal with. Okay, that makes sense to everybody, right? Is everybody following along with having a constructor like that? Oh, it's just 0. I just create inventory equals new product with a length of 0. Okay, so that's all clear to you guys. So now we have a getter method. Let's just create our simple getter method. So how would you guys create a method which returns the amount of money you have? Yeah, fair enough. Very easy, right? Money. All right, now we've got a bit more of an involved step. So how would you make a Boolean is dead? So the idea of is dead is that you want to say if your health is 0, you're dead, right? Or if it's less than 0, you're dead. So how would you write a method for that? Yeah, so how would you guys go about figuring out if your individual there is dead or not, based on, like with a Boolean return, keeping in mind we have no field for dead? The dimension of it is 0 there, Zahar. Yeah, okay, and there's actually shorthand for that. We can just return health is greater than or equal to 0. Really easy. That's a fine method as well. These ones are really easy. Don't worry, we're going to get into a bit harder ones. So in this method, this is to get injured because, you know, we want to be able to make this person take some damage. So how would we go about, you know, affecting our health with a certain amount of int? Yep, sure. Or we can even use some shorthand and just say health minus equals damage. That should be pretty clear to you guys, right? And you can see here how I'm working with my fields. So I've got my field for health, and then I modify it using this int. I've got my is dead. It accesses a field, but indirectly. So that should all make sense to you guys, right? Why not use this dot health for is dead? That's a great question. The reason why we don't have to use this dot health for is dead is because it's actually not, there's no other health parameter there, right? So the point of this is that it only affects if you have two things of the same name. So here, notice how in the constructor, when I have string name and I have a field called name, I say this dot name equals name. And the reason I use this dot is that this dot name is different from the name that I'm passing as a parameter. And I have a money parameter which has the same name as the field. So hopefully that's clear to you guys, right? Like if you have a local variable with the same name as a field, you can specify that it's the field using this dot. But if you're just dealing with a local variable or a field which has nothing else with the same name, you don't have to put this. It's not necessary. So that's why, so here, yeah, you can see here we're directly accessing a field. Here we are accessing a field indirectly. We're like doing some logic on it. And here we are modifying a field. So now we're going to get to the hard method. Now this one is going to be challenging, and I'm going to ask you guys to try to write it yourself and then send me in the chat what your solution for it would be. So here's the idea. We're going to have to buy a product, and I'll just switch to the cam here. So we're going to have to use it to buy a product, and by buy a product, I mean we're going to have a product be passed to it. Then if you have enough money to buy the product, using product get cost, you have to add it to your inventory. So you've got an array for inventory, so you've got to somehow make the array one size bigger and then have this product in your inventory. And then you have to deduct the amount of money it costs you to buy that product. And then you have to return the amount of money the product sold for. Then if you don't have enough money, you have to throw a not enough money exception. So why don't you guys try to solve the problem and see what your solutions you come up with, and we can work together on making a good solution. I'll give you guys some time to think about it, work on it, and then you guys can send your solutions to it in the chat. It is 0. Yeah, that would be correct, yeah. So yeah, you guys, why don't you work on your solutions for this? If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we can see if we can solve this question of buying it. It's a hard method compared to the previous ones, but it's quite doable. We just have to somehow add the product to our inventory, deduct the amount of money it cost, and return the amount of money we paid for it. And if there's not enough money, we have to throw that exception. And in case you haven't seen it before, the syntax for throwing an exception is really simple. You just type throw, new, not enough money exception. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I switched away from that. Let me just transition that really quick. Just throw new, not enough money exception. And that's all you have to do. So if you want to throw the exception, that's all you have to type. And yeah, let's see what you guys come up with for this, and we'll discuss different solutions. And of course, I will give you time to work on it. And please do ask any of your questions while you work on it so that we can see about understanding it. Okay, sure, what's up? Oh, health and damage. What do you mean? Oh, I'll just paste in what I wrote into the chat. There you go. Real simple. I just did health minus equals damage. That's a really simple one. That's just to get you guys familiar with fields, and then the by one is the challenging one. How about I'll put like a timer for, let's say 6 minutes, and then we'll see what people come up with. And if there's not, and if you have a solution before that, by all means, feel free to interrupt. If you have questions before that, feel free to interrupt. And in 6 minutes, I'll show you guys what solution I would come up with for it, or at least like give you guys a hint to getting closer to a solution. And if, of course, if nobody says anything earlier, we could go into that earlier as well. Once we throw the exception, we don't need to return anything. That's correct. If you have the exception, that just means you're out of the method. If the array has length 0, how would we append elements to the inventory? Well, that's the question you're trying to solve. If somebody else in the class has an idea of how you could do that, we could go into that now. Or if nobody has any clue, then I could explain it. But if anybody wants to suggest a solution, we can try that. Yeah, it needs to return the amount of money it cost to buy the product. So for that, you could just do return p.getCost. Right? But you don't always want that, because if, of course, there is a problem and there's not enough money, you throw the exception. I wasn't here last time. Do you have to modify the product class? No, you do not have to modify the product class. Do we create a count variable that takes care of the size of the product we want? Yeah, you could do that. That's not necessary necessarily, but you could do that too. You could also just use like a for loop, maybe. Something. You could like create a new array that's bigger and then reset the value of your products array. That's also a possibility. What is the syntax for throwing an exception? I'll just type it into the chat here. It's throw new not enough money exception. Yeah, just like that. And you do that in a situation where the client does not have enough money to purchase the item. All right. So anybody got any clues about how we could go about doing this? Any like starts to it? Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's start off with that. And I think Ali has already put that in the chat, so let's put it here. So, all right, perfect. So we've dealt with our first problem of checking if we have enough money. So now that's solved our first issue, and that's like the first half of this thing. The second half of this thing is what happens if we actually are able to buy it. How are we going to be able to add something to our inventory if you know, it's not previously been there? Do we need to use this.money, or can we just use money here? Here we can just use money because we don't have money, like we don't have any local variable called money. So notice, if we look through our method, we don't have any local variable named money. So yeah, we can just use, money directly. We don't have to say this.money. I just copy pasted the code from the chat. But notice how just putting money as well also works just fine. All right, so seeing here, looks like you guys are struggling a bit with the array thing. So I'll give you guys a hint for it. So how about I'll do like a simple case of it. Let's say we can only have one product. I could say this.products, or just products. Wait, no, it's called inventory, right? What did I call it? Yeah, I called it inventory. Inventory is equal to new product. So this solution could work, right? It could just be a new product which contains p. And then we could say, return p.getCost, money minus equals p.getCost. get cost. And this will actually kind of work for the first time you buy something, right? But it's not going to work if you buy more. So does anybody have any idea how we could maybe copy the contents of our old array of products? Yeah, copy inventory into the array and then add the product at the end of a new array with a for loop. Sure, that's a great idea. So could anybody maybe come up with a code for that and we can try running it? See if anybody has that solution. We can send it to the chat and we can try it out. The long being returned indicates how much it cost you. So it's how much money you paid for the thing you bought, which would just be p.getCost. This return statement with p.getCost is all you need at the end. All right, so Charlotte has a solution here. So product array, new array. Let's just try that. This inventory.length. Sure, remember this dot is not completely necessary here. It's fine to keep it, but it also works without the this. That's just so it's clear to everyone. So product new array is this. Yeah, perfect. For everything in this inventory, do that. And then, oh, well, that looks like a pretty great solution to me. Let's see if it runs. If we actually save this file, and then we run the thing. Well, that's your name. It's that. How much money are you starting with? That much. Let's see if we can buy something. It shouldn't. No. Looks like we've got an array index out of bounds exception. What's going on here? Well, what we're doing here is we're not handling the base case. So let's think about this. So we've got a new array here, which is the same length as the old one. It's of length 0. And then we do all this. This loop does nothing because it's of length 0. And then we try to access the index of length -1 equals p. But remember, our array length is 0. So yeah, let's try. Maybe Zachar has a better method. But again, to explain why this one had an issue, it's that when our array has length 0, here our... Oh, and also, well, actually, no, this is not even a problem. We can just put +1 here. Because remember, we need it to be 1 bigger. So, and then we could also just say, yeah, this inventory is equal to new r. So now if we run it, save it. It's just there, Charlotte, you missed a +1. So if we just put our name here as that, and our money we're starting with is that, and then we try to buy. Now it lets us buy. And we can actually check the value of an inventory with toString. But before we go into that, let's just see what Zahar's solution was. Public long buy. So I'll just comment out. Should I comment out mine? No, I'll just put it over here. Okay, so Zahar's solution. You get the cost with, yeah, money you get, yeah, okay. Product inventory is new inventory length +1. Inventory equals new inventory. Okay, you see the problem, Zachar, is you're not actually copying the values, I don't think, of the old one. Let's see. A new inventory equals new product like the other one. Inventory equals new inventory. Yeah. So there you're not actually iterating through the whole array, and you're not actually refilling it with the old values as well. But besides that, it's good. Let's see Emily's solution. Java does have a deep copy. Yeah, that's the thing that you can do. And I mean, that is essentially what we're trying to do here. And you can also just do arrays.deepcopy if you're not using, or if you're not in this class usually, because here we usually have to do things manually, but otherwise in your own projects you could just use like arrays.deepcopy or arrays.deepcopy. That should do a deep copy. Where is it? System. Yeah, system.arrayCopy. Yeah, that's what you can do if you want to do it the really techie way. Anyways, so this method looks like it's fine to me. It's pretty good. That's Emily's method. Good solution. But let's just go with the original solution we got over here. I'm just going to call it buy again. Now, how do we actually check if our inventory is working properly? This is where the toString method comes in. So do you guys all understand how the toString method works? Okay. Well, I'll just go through a quick explainer of it. So when you print out an object, I'll actually show you here in IntelliJ exactly what happens when you print an object by showing you the Java code that runs. I did this last tutorial and during the office hours, so you might have seen this before, but I think it's worth seeing. So yeah, I'll just let this open. So wherever I have a system out print line, I'm just putting this in a random place. So if I right click on print line and I go in, and I go to declaration or usages, and here, and then we go into here and we do string value of, and we go to declaration or usages. Whenever you print anything, what's printed is, not the Boolean, I want to do a value of string. or value of object. That's what I want to see. Here, so when you put a print line, you can see what this line of code does. I'll even send this line of code to the chat. This is what print line does. It returns, if the object is null, it returns null, else it returns object.toString. So you can see it's calling toString on whatever you're printing. Hopefully you guys see that, right? Like every time you do a system.out.println, it's actually calling the toString method of the thing you're printing. Kind of makes sense, right? When you print an object, it calls toString. So that means if I do a system.out.println of, let's say, client, the method it's going to call is toString. Now to prove this to you guys, I'm just going to return hello. This is the wrong IDE. Oops. To prove this to you guys, I will put hello from toString. And now over here in cartel.java, notice how I do system.out.println user, which is a client. If I run this and I type all my stuff in here, yeah, so see, hello from toString shows up. When I do a print line, toString is called. Make sense to everyone? I'm going to take your silence as a yes. So yeah, toString is called whenever you print. But we can also put something more useful in our toString. So what do you guys think we should put in our toString to be able to kind of convey to the user what's going on in the program? Okay, that's a good idea. So how would you guys think about returning the value of, I know it's really easy to return the value of most of them, but how about the array, the inventory? How do you think we could return that? Yeah, we could try that. I'm sorry, your audio was bad. I think you said arrays toString, or was that something else? Yeah, we could try that. How about some of you guys try to write out a solution for this toString and put it in the chat, and we can see how it runs. And yeah, we can see if you guys can write a good, nice toString method for this class. And keep in mind, it's kind of important to us to have the inventory, the name, and the health, and the money show up. Can you repeat again the method toString what to return? Yeah, well, the toString should return the values of all the fields. So we should go through our fields and we should return something. So let's say we want to return the name, comma, the amount of money we have, comma, the amount of health we have, and then what's in our inventory. And the challenge of this one is in order to create a string that's nicely formatted and also to print this array. Or not print this array, but like turn this array into a string. Alright, well, I'll take you guys to silence as a this is too easy, so I'll just give you guys the first bit first. So let's just say string output is equal to name is plus name plus health is plus health plus money is money. Now, I'll just leave it to you guys to say, how should we go about adding the array of inventory into there? Anybody have any clue how we could turn an array into a string? Arrays toString was a good solution, but there's also a different solution. In this class, sometimes we won't be allowed to use the helper class arrays. So, well, all right. If nobody else has the solution, I'll just give it. It will be for I equals 0, I is less than the array, its inventory length, I plus plus. And now how would we edit a string? We know strings are immutable, so instead we could do a string builder. String builder, and then here we could say string output, and then output. And then we could say output dot concat inventory I dot let's see, what can we say about our product? Get class. And get name. Yeah, I didn't think that went through, but yeah. Alright, so we've got this name, money, health, inventory, arrays, toString inventory. Makes sense. Yeah, that one would work. This one is basically similar, and I return sb.toString. Yeah, sure, I'll finish it. So here's what I've got as my solution. Your solution would also work there, Emily. This one could work. This is my my solution for it. The reason I do getClass.getName is that I never actually put like the name of the product into the product object. A bit of an oversight on my part. But now, what's your name? How much money are you starting with? That's not the right. I put a little apostrophe there. What's your name? How much money you have? Do you want to buy or sell? Now if I buy, and I have nothing in my inventory. That's weird. So why is this thing not working? Okay, let me just try to fix this. Maybe getClass.getName is false. I'll just do dot. No, that's weird. All right, ignore solution. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't want to get cost, so I'll have to just do. I'll just put it directly. Alright, so it looks like buying is not doing anything. Neither is selling. So string builder.append is that, well, did I explain that to you guys properly? A string builder is a way to create a string that's mutable. So instead of, a string, you can't change it once you create it. A string builder is a tool which lets you create strings over time, so you can keep appending things to it. Like you create a string builder, you append a bunch of things to the string builder, and then once it's done, you can return sb.toString, which gives you the actual string you were making. So string builder is a little bit of a tool to help you create a string over time. An array builder? No, there's not. You could use like an array list or a different data type. Arrays are like very simple data types. Let's try Emily's toString here. All right. Arrays.toString. Yeah. Arrays cannot. Yeah, I'll just import that. And now we'll run this, save it. What's your name? How much money are you starting with? Inventory is nothing. All right, so let's buy. All right, so this one seems to be working. I must have screwed up my toString because I was trying to use some fields I had in the class. That wasn't working for me. Emily's solution looks pretty great, and she does not use string builder. But yeah, so we can buy, and our money is going nowhere. That's one of our issues. So in our buy, do we ever do this? Money minus equals p.getCost. So why is that not running? Let's see. We'll put some breakpoints on this. Control-Shift-B, Control-Shift-B, Control-Shift-B. All right, now you guys might have seen this if you went to the other tutorials. Putting breakpoints on methods just lets you pause them during execution. So I'll just run like that. Do you want to buy or sell? I'll buy. Now we'll watch what it does. Why is it not reducing the amount of money we have? Let's see. Where's my program running? What is your name? Do you want to buy or sell? I want to buy. Why is it not freezing? Put breakpoints here. What's your name? What's your money? I want to buy. Okay, finally, it's now now it's actually letting me use breakpoints. P is here. Okay, cost is 15, and get cost returns cost. Well, let's just put this default cost up to 15 and see if that changes it. Okay, now it's working. So sorry about that, guys. I just put my default cost here at 0, and that's what was causing our issues. So if you guys want the program to work a bit better, you can just go into the product class and change cost from 0 to a different number. And to figure this out, what we did was we used debuggers. And hopefully you guys all understand the debugger thing. If not, I can go through it again for you and show you exactly what I did. But I put breakpoints in all these methods. I ran through and I saw what was happening. I saw that p.getCost returned 0, and I saw that that was an issue for us. So now we can tell what's going on with the program, and we've got it pretty solid. And we're ready to move on to the final challenge of today, which is to sell something, to remove something from the array. So do you guys have any idea how we could make a method which removes a product from our inventory? And, okay, sorry, you got this bug. Okay, can we see what it is? And again, you can follow the same procedure which I was using if you want to debug stuff using the breakpoints. Hopefully you guys saw that and it's kind of understandable. All right, let's see this screen cap and what it does. Yeah, capture.png. Is that saved somewhere? Yeah, okay. So the bug you got was a not enough money exception. Throw was expected. Inventory cannot be resolved to a variable. Well, okay, unresolved compilation problems. Throw exception cannot be resolved to a variable. Not exactly sure, because I can't see your code, what that is, but you should just make sure that when you're throwing the thing, you have the little circle brackets. Yeah, it is normal to lose health when you have not enough money left. That's because they will start beating you up if you try to buy things and you don't have enough money. But before we get to that, let's try to implement the sell method. Yeah, you can, in IntelliJ, to put a breakpoint, all you have to do is, yeah, I just put Emily's solution, and I think did I modify it? I may or may not have. I'll just send you the solution I have right now. I think it might just be Emily's solution untouched, and if I modified something, it must have been super minor. I think that's all it was. That was by. Oops, I should send you toString. I meant to send you this. There's what I've got for toString. I think it's just Emily's method. And here we've got, where is it? Oh yes. So yeah, if you want to put a breakpoint in IntelliJ, you just click next to your line number, single click, it puts the red dot there. In Eclipse, you go on the line and you do Control-Shift-B. So I've got a line selected. Notice this, it's a tiny dot. You probably can't even see it, but Control-Shift-B puts a little breakpoint there. And you do Control-Shift-B or Command-Shift-B if you're on a Mac on whatever line, and that puts a breakpoint. Another option is to right-click and click Toggle Breakpoint. Or I think, yeah, double-clicking on a line also does it. So hopefully that explains to you how breakpoints work. If not, you guys can ask questions about it. But yeah, let's try to move into our sell method. How exactly are we able to sell items off from our inventory? At this stage, should money change when I buy stuff? Yes, it should, but notice when we went to the breakpoints, we realized that product's cost is actually 0, and I changed it to 15. So I went into my classes here. I found out that product has a cost of 0, and I changed it up to 15. And that's the point of the breakpoints. Like I was trying to figure out, oh, why is it not deducting any money? And it turns out the reason it wasn't deducting any money was that that was set to 0. So then I could go into that class and change it to 15. Sorry if I went a bit quick on that, but that was the thing with that. So now, while we're fussing with that, let's try the sell method where we is a specific option. No, we just sell the one that's the latest in the array, like the highest index or the first index, up to you guys. Just sell whichever one you feel like selling. It doesn't matter. All the products are essentially the same. So which one in the array we want to sell is not a big deal. So that's up to you guys. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to try to come up with some solutions, and then in the meantime, I'll give you hints and answer your questions. And after we have or don't have solutions, I can try to show you guys somewhat the technique we can use for that. And again, right now we have an array which we can resize to make it bigger, and we also want to be able to resize it to make it smaller now with this method. Would you need to create an entirely new array but missing one of the elements from the original? You could do that, yeah. You could create an entirely new array missing one of the elements from the original, but you also should keep track of which one you got rid of, because which one you got rid of is the one where you find out how much it cost, because you want to be able to, when you sell it, keep the cost, or I guess I put 80% of the cost of what you sold it for. If that makes sense to you. Like you shouldn't just like reduce the size of the array by 1 and toss out one of the members. You should also remember which one you tossed out and be able to find out the cost of it. Well, what happens to these arrays? It depends on what's going on with them. Java has what's called garbage collection, which means that once there's no longer any reference to something, it will be removed from memory. It's not like another language like C++ where you have to manually delete them. In Java, let's suppose that you have like a user client, and then you no longer have it because let's say that user client died and it's no longer being tracked by anything, it's no longer in any list, it's just gone. In that situation, all of its fields will just be removed from memory and its own reference will be removed from memory. Once a reference to an object no longer exists, that object will be deleted from memory, if that makes sense to you. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's not necessarily it does everything itself. You could still waste memory in Java. It's just once there is no longer a reference to something, it's deleted. So you'll see later on in the class, once you're doing things like linked lists, if you have an element which is has a link from a different element, then you delete that link and that thing will be deleted because nothing references it. Shouldn't the method take a product or something we want to sell? A better method could take the product. This one just assumes you want to sell the most recent one you bought. I wanted to make it simple because it would be more difficult to iterate through and find which exact one you want to sell. And since we have like 5 minutes to do it, we'll keep it simple and we'll make it easy. All right, so here we've got a solution from Emily, public void sell. Let's try it out. Money is equal to the gut cost, sure. I was putting 80% of it, but yeah, like you can just put 100% of it. The array temp is equal to that, okay. Oh yeah, sweet, that's a pretty good solution for sell. I changed the product price in product.java. Did you save product price? If you did, then you should just make sure that here in this method you have money minus equals p.getCost. I'll send you my latest buy method, and if this latest buy method and the change of the cost in product didn't fix it, then there must be a bug somewhere else, and you could try to do the same thing that I did and use your debugger to figure out where that problem is coming from. So let's try Emily's solution for sell. So our name is that, our money is that. Let's say we buy something. We got a couple pizzas. We got some illegal pizzas. We got some legal pizzas too. And we can sell them. And oh, it looks like we've got an array index out of bounds exception. Let's see what's going on. Oh, okay. That's a really common error. So we throw an error if there's not enough object left to sell. Yeah, we could throw an error for that. It's going to throw an index out of bounds exception anyways. But yes, if we were to do this program better, we could come up with a new exception. Let's say like a don't have any inventory exception, and we could throw that as well. That would totally be a great solution, and that's a great enhancement to the program. We'll be iterating on this program throughout like the future tutorials, so we'll definitely get to making a lot of these improvements later. But for now, the error which we had in this code, Emily, you forgot the -1, because it's kind of weird, the zero indexing, not zero indexing. It's a common thing. Everybody does it. So now we can put our name. We can put like starting with $100, and now we want to buy something. Now we have less money, and we've got this in our inventory. We can keep buying things until we run out of money. You'll notice when we have no money left, they're going to start attacking us for not having enough money. We start selling things to get our money back. And yeah, now we have an array index out of bounds exception when we're out of things to sell. If we wanted to make this more rigorous, we could do what's called a try catch block. So before this, we can put try. here we could put catch array index out of bounds exception ex, and then system dot out print line. This isn't great convention, but it's just to show an example. Yeah. So now if we sell off all our stuff, now instead of crashing, it just says nothing's left to sell. So that should make sense to you guys, right? You've seen trying and catching. If not, feel free to ask about it. But now, from today's, we've got a solid system going where we've got an array where we can add and remove things from it. Like you can see, we're making it bigger, making it smaller, and we're keeping a counter of money while we do this. So in our future tutorials, we will be implementing things like the agent class. We'll be checking if a pizza is illegal and then, reporting them to the cops if they sell us an illegal pizza and all that stuff here. I can send you guys, well, the code, I'll probably upload this finished code to GitHub after we're done. But before then, yes, I can send you guys the methods. I'll just send you the entire thing. It's only 94 lines. Here is my final client.java class, which you guys can access. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them now, and I'll do my best to answer. And yeah, the future tutorials will be working on this same project, but we'll be going into different parts of it. For example, we'll be making this client class more rigorous. We'll be doing something with a new class where we'll extend client to create like an agent who detects illegal pizzas. We'll be doing all this fun stuff. It's going to get like relatively in depth, and it's going to help us through some object-oriented programming stuff. And until then, yeah, we'll keep it up with that. And this differently sized arrays thing should come in handy for your weekly assignments and perhaps even your actual assignments. I think it didn't send all the lines, it stopped at by. Oh, there might have been a cutoff just because of Zoom for the lines. So I might have to send it method by method. So yeah, any questions, anyone? All right, no questions. Fantastic. I'll just send you guys the code method by method from here. Sorry if it's a bit choppy, I just want to make sure there's no like maximum number of characters I can send over Zoom or something. Can I have a link for your GitHub? Yes, you can. I'll give you that in a second. I'll just finish sending this code out here. And the GitHub repository is the same one which was sent in the beginning of the class. This is the tutorial to GitHub. There you go. All right, well, if nobody's got any more questions and it's all concluded there, that'll probably be it for today. Thank you guys all for coming. Hopefully you learned a lot about, well, making a class for client and resizing arrays, fields, constructors, all that stuff. Next week, we'll probably be going into some object-oriented programming stuff, like we'll be extending this class, we'll be working with instance of a few of these other similar things, and we'll be making the system a bit more robust. We'll be progressing on the way to making like this into a little game. And hopefully that'll be pretty fun. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great day. Thank you guys for coming. Oh, of course, last minute question. Nice to have. What's up? Sure. Yes, sure. What's up? Okay. Well, yes, it's just a simple array. It's not an array list. It doesn't, there's like no object in Java called like, well, there is an object called that, but here we're invoking this one which has, it has its members. It is like an array of stuff, but it's just invoked with this. You're not saying like, when I say it's like the kind of primitive style, I'm saying you're not doing like, array of products equals new array product, whatever. I'm not doing it like that. It's not like one of these data structures which has its own accessible visible class. Whereas if we did something like an array list, so we could say array list product products equals new array list, then that would actually be like it's a different type of data structure. We'll be working with data structures like this in the future, but for now we're just using these simple arrays. Yeah, for sure. And thank you for the question. Oh, I've got somebody with their hand up. Yeah, you're welcome to also just talk if you'd like. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. That's just for sure. Yeah, you just multiply the amount of money by 0.8. That's just a little thing. We just didn't notice it. So yeah, we just do right here. I'll just do it right now. Dot times 0.8 or 0.08, 0.8. Yeah, you get it. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Any further questions? If you don't get a chance to answer them during this session, feel free to ask them on Piazza or to my email to wherever, and we'll see about it. All right. See you guys next time. Farewell.